welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Informer Spotlight. I'm joined as always by Tayler Klinkbeil and I'm Leah Warren. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have a really great episode for you guys today. So as always, I have to remind you guys first to go on to WSITV.com to sign up for our free daily newsletters and receive instant access to WSI Vault. So today we are talking about prioritizing your health to assure your wealth. Love that little rhyme you've got there, Tayler.
Yes, we do have our background in literature, so I had to kind of give that a dash of poetry. But today we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit unconventional in terms of when you're thinking of your financial prosperity, you may not consider health to be something that you can kind of maneuver in ways that savings could potentially be something that you're looking into, and even investments. So you're probably not thinking about how you can invest in your own health. Which is something that we're going to talk to you about today. There are things that you can change in the way that you're receiving healthcare in your day-to-day life, and there can be ways that you change the way that you interact with healthcare industry companies and things like that. So we're going to talk about those things for you today. But just before we get into that, there is like the glaring question of, well, why is this so important? If you live in the United States, for the majority of American subscribers, you know how expensive it is to be a healthy person here, especially even if you're not a healthy person, how difficult it is to get healthcare and how expensive that can be. So it's much more expensive to be healthy than you may think. The average American spent $10,000 per person for healthcare in 2015.
Oh my gosh, that's just per year.
Per year, yes. So if you have a 4-person family, you have 2 dependents, that's $20,000, including your own fees. And that's just average. If it's not including if you have an outstanding medical condition or if you have something that's not necessarily covered by health insurance all the time. And it's not including any sort of emergency medical costs that you're not anticipating. So that's a huge number that you are taking on kind of just as being a human being in society today. Health costs have doubled since 1984. So if you have been an adult paying into the society and paying for your own health insurance, and after you've turned whatever the age was, now it's 26, I believe, that you were no longer allowed on your parents, that you've been paying into this system that has doubled in terms of your contribution since 1984. And in general, the entirety of the United States, healthcare spending reached $3.65 trillion.
Those are some staggering numbers. I didn't know how much it cost. And I knew that our system was one that was more expensive than most, but those are some big numbers.
It is, and it's a very big chunk of your personal income, whether you have a traditional healthcare, situation in your family, or if it's just you and you're only supporting yourself, versus if you have, for example, a child or a dependent that does have a really, inclusive, expensive medical need, then you're definitely paying through the nose and then some for healthcare costs and just things in general like that. So the reason we're coming to you with this is not just because we're trying to look into big pharma and because we're conspiracy theorists. Like, we genuinely want you to be healthy and we want your wallet to be healthy as well. Those things go hand in hand. But I mean, you and I talk about this quite a lot behind the scenes, but you can't really enjoy any wealth or prosperity that you have if you're not healthy.
Yeah, and that's actually something that we covered a lot in our book, was the steps to your fulfillment. It includes the wallet, it includes the job, it includes all of that, but the first step is being physically healthy, because if you're not physically healthy, you can't be mentally healthy. And if you're not mentally healthy, you can't be healthy in anything that you do that's building your wealth, whether it's your job or your investments. So it really is just the domino effect.
It is, yes. So we do have a bigger picture in mind. We do sincerely care about your health and the health of your family, but it's hard to have a happy and healthy life when you're in this system that kind of doesn't give you any wiggle room to put your money where you want it to be and to perhaps, not spend as much as, a third of your income every year on healthcare costs. So we're going to talk about today how you can put your body first, how your family and your health is the most important priority for more than one reason. Like Leah was saying, it's not just your physical health, which obviously is very important, but also your financial and mental health as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's really important to note that this is, in effect, a wealth building exercise.
It is.
Because the more healthy you are, the less your healthcare costs are, and the more that you're putting towards that piggy bank that's filling up for your retirement or whatever it is that you really, really want with that eventual wealth goal. So
that's a really good point, yes. And there are certain steps you can take to reach those goals, whether it's, healthy financially or both. What you can do is we're going to give you 3 options that you can try. You can use them all at once. You can choose just one. But the first one that we have is try to spend less on health insurance and medical costs. And I know that sounds super impossible, especially if you have an employer-provided healthcare plan or if there's something that is preventing you from switching healthcare plans. I know that there's a lot of red tape involved with those, but we're going to give you some resources that you can find potentially alternative methods that may reduce your financial burden. Your next one is to preserve your immune system. I know it sounds really simple, but it goes a long way. Even just staying healthy in the long term or the short term, whether you're avoiding, chronic heart disease and you're trying to eat healthier, or if you're just avoiding this year's cold, it does make a big difference in terms of your bottom line for your healthcare bills when they're coming in. And then your last one is investing wisely. You may not think that this is something that's involved in your health, but it is very closely tied to it, especially seeing as you do pay into the system of healthcare in this country, and you can potentially make a chunk back of those profits that you didn't necessarily pay as much on the front end as you would receive. So
yeah, absolutely. So 3 good points. The first one is where you can save. So a big one is prescription costs. The average person spends over $1,000 a year on prescription drugs.
Yes.
I know I'm in that number because one of my main prescriptions is not covered by my health insurance, and I have no option on my health insurance because I'm still covered by my parents, and theirs is provided through their workplace.
Yeah.
So that's the catch-22 that most people are stuck in.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can try a discount company such as GoodRx and see if you qualify for state or federal assistance. A lot of people qualify for these things and don't even realize it.
Exactly, yes. I mean, GoodRx is just one example of a private company that's taken it upon themselves to, reduce your prescription costs. But there are several different ways that you can potentially supplement your insurance payments that you're, for example, if you do have one prescription that's perhaps it's only partially covered, there are supplements that you can use that are either local or private companies that could potentially reduce how much you're paying for those prescription costs. And even if it's $100 medicine that they get down to $50 for you, that's still a big difference. And something that if you're filling that prescription every month or every week or whatever, that makes a big difference at the end. Yeah. And then we also have health insurance.
Yeah, so health insurance is a really big thing. Obviously, it's important to have. It does, in the long run, even though you're putting huge payments into it, it protects you from those extra costs that Tayler was talking about earlier, where if you find out that someone in your family is struggling with cancer or heart disease or any of those long-term health issues that isn't automatically covered, this is what saves you. You still have that deductible, but once you reach it for the year, especially if you have a family plan, you are definitely going to reach that deductible.
Yes.
Everything is covered. And if it weren't, you could be paying extra tens of thousands of dollars every year.
Exactly.
So ensure that you have proper coverage, but don't overpay where it's unnecessary.
Yes.
This is a big thing that a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of time your state will provide resources to find discounted plans, but people aren't using these resources.
Yes.
People will pay what they're told by the company to pay because the company wants you to pay the maximum amount.
Well, I think we've all had that moment where you've gone, for example, I went to the ER recently to get some testing done, and I received a bill months afterwards that was, $8,000, and it's like, you're looking through all these charges and you're like, okay, all right, and you're starting to sweat a little bit, and you realize, I came to the realization they never applied my insurance. But that's not ever listed on there. You have that kind of, you see the pay now and they tell you how to pay the bill. So most people kind of have that fear, that anxiety that you want your you don't want that outstanding debt, so you just click pay and you pay $8,000 and you go into debt. After a quick call to my insurance company, my bill went down to $100. So it really does make a huge difference, making sure that what you do qualify for is applied when you do go in for healthcare treatment. And like Leah was saying, there are super easy resources out there that most people don't know are there that are free to you to use. For example, I searched on Google literally cheap health insurance plans, and the state of Florida website popped up. And there's an entire guide there that will help you. There are some plans that are offered through the state of Florida, for example, for us, that may be a lot cheaper than a private insurance company. For example, if your employer doesn't offer it, or if you opt out and it's cheaper to go the other direction, you should consider those things. Especially don't just click the one that don't just go through the motions just because you think that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, so lots to consider there.
Yes.
And then the next thing that we have for you is to just generally stay healthy. Take care of that immune system. Make sure that your body is at its best. And yes, prescription drugs can help with this if you have an ongoing issue. Going to the doctor is important. But there are also things that you can do in your home that really help stave off the necessary doctor's visits. So the first one is exercise. You don't have to do this in the traditional sense. Just get active. Again, in our book, we talk a lot about this. We call it active hobbies, where it's something that's fun, but that also gets you moving.
Exactly.
When your body releases the endorphins from any kind of exercise, and there's other positive neurochemicals too, it naturally boosts your immune system and it makes you happier.
It does. Yes, it's a win-win all around with that.
Yeah, so that's an actual chemical process. That exercise makes you happy.
It does.
Another thing that's important to note is vitamin C. We've been told it since we were little kids, but make sure that you eat foods that have lots of high vitamin C content. Citrus is a really good one. You can also take supplements. I take a supplement every morning because I have a terrible immune system. But it can help your body boost its ability to fight off infections and other illnesses like that.
Yes.
And another thing is essential oils. This one's a little bit new on the avenue of natural health, but there are quite a few oils that you can use to reduce your pain, nausea, anxiety, insomnia. You name it. And it's a lot cheaper than a lot of the prescriptions that are out there. And it's a more natural remedy, so it's less intrusive to your body.
For sure.
So I know, for example, peppermint oil will help clear out your sinuses. It helps with dandruff and hair loss.
It does.
And it's just a generally very calming oil. And there's lots of different things like that. You can just do an easy Google search again and just look up natural oil for blank.
Whatever your ailment is. Yes.
And it'll be there. So.
A great resource for essential oils that I used when I first, started researching them is draxe.com, and we'll link that for you. They have, 101 ways to use X oil, So, for example, of course, peppermint oil does all those things, but I also found out I have digestive problems sometimes, it helps with nausea and motion sickness and things like that. So you may not think that, if you smell a little stick of peppermint oil, it'll help you on the plane, but it may save you a couple dollars in the airport store buying a Dramamine versus just having your own peppermint oil on you. So it is healthier, they are more natural, and it can save you a couple dollars in the long run if you're, have a low-level problem that could be solved just at your local natural health store. So.
Yeah. Plus, it smells good and it tastes better than medicine.
Yes. Yes.
So next up, we have our yoga spotlight. So this is one of our favorite pastimes. This is one of our active hobbies. Taylor and I both love yoga. Taylor, I think you go to a studio?
I do. Yes, I go to a local gym that's a chain gym, so it's available for everyone across the country. But you have different instructors at your disposal. You have different kinds of yoga that they'll do. And it's really just beneficial in all terms of things to get your heart rate moving up and down, to get your flexibility in, your balance. I mean, it's the benefits are endless, I feel like.
Absolutely. And I just do yoga in my home. I took classes for a long time, and then I felt comfortable taking it into my home. So I'll just do yoga for about 30 minutes every other day, a little bit longer if I'm feeling like it on a Saturday morning, which I frequently am if the weather's nice.
Yes.
And yoga is all about the combination of physical exertion, stretching, and being in touch with your body and mind.
Yes.
So it really helps with that mental health side of things. And there's different levels of yoga. There's beginner things that are just helping you stretch out those limbs. It increases circulation. It generally just gets your body functioning better. And then there's intermediate, which is a little bit more pressure. And then you can go into hot yoga. You can go into relaxation yoga. There's different kinds of poses that will help you fall asleep. There's some that help you get rid of headaches. This really is the ultimate natural cure.
It is, yes.
And it's just very relaxing, and it just is an easy, fun way to keep in shape.
Exactly, yeah. And I think the two of us are like such huge proponents for this because it is just like there's no such pill in the pharmacy that fixes everything. There's no one cure-all. And this kind of is a preventative cure-all, and it is reactive on the other side too. I mean, it helps with digestion, it helps with headaches, it helps with insomnia, it helps with anxiety. I mean, there's so many different things that you can come up against in your health that doing yoga may not exactly remedy, but it will help you. Yeah. And it definitely is a great addition to your day-to-day life.
Yeah, and it's fun. It
may
is.
Not I enjoy
like
it.
Is,
no,
but
it seriously
is. It's fun, and you come out of it just feeling relaxed
exactly.
and at peace. And talking about it makes me want to go to yoga right now.
No, yes, me too. Yes.
So the last thing that we're going to talk about is investing to help with your health, and also helping with your wallet. So all of that money that you have to put into your healthcare fund for your insurance, for all of your health and wellness throughout the year, you can get some of it back by investing in healthcare companies. So if you want to walk us through a couple of these charts that you found.
Yes, so the first one that we've got up here is XLV. It is the Healthcare Select Sector Fund. So essentially what that means is this is tracking the entirety of the healthcare sector in the market. So looking at this, if I want to know, well, what's going on in healthcare? Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? What's going on? This is the chart that we pull up. And as you can see, it's got a steady uptrend going the past couple years. We've seen a crazy spike with the rest of the market, and it's just doing really well right now and kind of following the general market, which is a good position to be in. That way you know what's going on. But this one is a really good one to get into if you want some stability, if you want some long-term investments in the healthcare sector, because you do know, for example, this one is not going anywhere, so you can ensure that you're going to have generous returns with this one for quite some time. And this is just a pretty good one to get involved in
Yeah,
the
I'm really
beginning.
liking the way that there's this bouncing motion. You can see it here where there's this really great stepping, and then you see a bigger version of it here. It looks like you're seeing a bigger edge of it there, but it just is a really healthy chart, and really, really strong, and also an indicator that it's a good time to get into the healthcare market in general.
Yes, and then we do have some specific ones for you to look at as well. I do like this one because it's just a bit cheaper. We don't usually look at the price of the stocks here, but this one is what we would consider a penny stock because it is under $10. So if you're kind of, iffy on the stock market, if you're just here for natural remedies and you just want to be healthy in general and you're not sure you want to put extra savings, like for example, if you do save on your insurance and your prescriptions, that money that you were spending, you could just throw in here and pretend like you never touched it and just see what happens, because you can see this is gone. We started down here at $2 at the very end of 2018 and now we're up to $9.
Yes.
So I mean, just throwing a couple, some loose change in there over time and just letting it grow is definitely a really good investment.
Yeah, and that's about a 400% increase in 2 years?
Something like
pretty
that.
Sizable. So.
Yes, yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. And then our last one is the LHC Group, Inc., and it's, what is the ticker for this? I can't quite read it.
This one is LHCG.
Mirrored each other there.
We did, yes.
But I see you've labeled the great stepping motion that we have here, and this is just a really generally strong chart. But if you want to tell us a little bit about why you picked this one.
Yes, this one I didn't realize, I kind of forgot about it. It had been sitting in my list for quite some time because I had drawn, the last time I looked at this, it was down here, so I had drawn on it. And I was looking at this support level and how we had that nice resistance in that channel, and then we created new support back here, which we talk about technical indicators a lot on the channel, but essentially what that means is that's the best motion you could see, because we do have this established pattern. I know that it's not dropping below this point, and then I know that it's created this new point that it's going to bounce off of, as you see here, and we just went right up since then. So that's the kind of movement that I was looking at in this chart that I liked a lot.
Yeah, this is also kind of a plug for your abilities as a stock analyst. You can see that she pulled this months ago and knew what it was going to do, and look at that. So, good pick here, Taylor. It does work, yeah.
All right. So then we do have some hypothetical numbers for you that if you had combined your investments into these stocks, from the first chart that we showed you, it was XLV, the Healthcare Sector Fund. You would have made $12,290 from the last bounce that we first showed you when you first would have gotten in on that chart. From the Info Systems Holdings, which was the penny stock I showed you, it was INFU. It was $6,920. And then from the LHC Group, we had $31,740.
Wow.
So altogether, that comes out to $50,950.
Yeah, so that's well over the annual cost for healthcare for each person.
Yes.
So you could be making basically a second income just on these healthcare
Yeah,
stocks.
so your family of 5 would be covered for health insurance and healthcare indefinitely if you had done this every year and had made these profits. So
so pretty incredible numbers there. And that's just from pretty small investments. That isn't the big throw all your money into this stock and hope for the best.
That's not your life savings in one category. This is just one way. We're showing you healthcare today. Tomorrow you could have a separate part of your portfolio where you save, for example, in real estate, and you put the savings in real estate into the real estate sector. We kind of just zoom into these different wheels on the stock market. And when you have the extra money and you do have, say you make $1,000 here on your bonus, or you saved $1,000 on your healthcare costs this year. And if you treat that as kind of income that you never really held on to, that's the way I kind of think of it, is you don't feel like you're losing money if you feel like you never had it. You got to kind of trick yourself into that and just put it into the stock market and see what it does, because you can make some really good returns.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is just some really impressive numbers. I'm definitely on board with this, with those healthcare savings.
Yes.
I know that's a big cost every year.
It is.
So thank you so much for bringing this to us. This is a really interesting topic, and I'm really enjoying it. So
Yes.
thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.